Hello Pirates, welcome to another video in my series Battle Pirates Explainer. I have seen many players asking which special to use when they're building their bat rays and razor tails to counter the cryo fields, also known as ice fields. And there seems to be some confusion on what's the best special, what's even a valid special. So I want to take the opportunity and clarify stun, slow, and tactical field and how each resistance to each one of these effects are different and require different tactics and different specials. So first of all, what's what? Stun is when your ship stops moving, stops firing, they won't do anything for a few seconds. Good examples of that is when you drop a pinch rocket on an enemy and you stun them. Another good example of that is when you're fighting the river targets for titanium on the map, and the little drones, they explode, they do a little boom, and that stuns the manticores for a long time and they just can't move, and that's why we say manticores don't work well on those targets. The slow effect's different. The ship still moves, still turns, but slower. So by default, the slow effect only affects movement. Sometimes, such as the recondite rockets or some other weapons, they can also slow down reload. And in some cases, it usually goes away after a few seconds. So the slow effect comes from something hitting you, such as a weapon, okay, and that slows you down progressively. The better known weapon for that is, I think, the lockdown rocket. Tactical fields are visible. They are usually shaped as a circle, and they generate auras. It can be generated by a weapon hitting the water and leaving a cryo field or a fire field. It can be generated by structures, buildings, turrets that have an aura around them. Sometimes ships have an aura around them. And they only affect your ships when you move into that field. The moment you move out of that field, they stop affecting your ships. So it's very binary. Either you're in the field or out of the field, and if you're in the field, you're being affected. There's nothing you can do except create some resistance to reduce the effect that field is having on you. Stun, best example I have, it's these little drones in the titanium targets. You see that big boom, and all of a sudden, your ships and even their ships, they all get stunned. Skyfires and Phoenixes, they have a very high stun resistance. So they barely blink. But you can see on the top left of the picture here, the little drone is stunned, and you see that little kind of like sparkles around the ship, and the ship doesn't move. Like I said, it's usually caused by a boom effect or a pinch rocket. The difference between Skyfires and Manticores, it's easy to spot when you look at both, right? You look at the Skyfire up here, and it has a stun resistance of 74%. When you look at the Manticore, it has no stun resistance, especially because this build doesn't have the right special. The Skyfire here has Agility System 4, giving the 74% stun resistance. This Manticore doesn't. So if you add Agility System, then the Manticore can also withstand the stun effect, but you're going to be giving up some ability here. This is not a field, so if you look here, the Skyfire has 50% tactical resistance, the Manticore has 70%, but for the stun effect, that's completely irrelevant. Doesn't matter. Okay? It's all about the stun resistance, and one good special to give you that is Agility System 4. Slow effect. Slow effect comes from weapons. Okay, the best example I can give is the lockdown rockets in base defense. It's caused by direct hits from enemy weapons, so you can see here all of these weapons, lockdown rockets, disruption missile D53D, assault disruptor cannon. They all have this little block of special abilities, all of them, and it has a stack duration. The number of seconds the stack lasts will change from weapon to weapon. and they have a slow effect. X% per hit, and there's a maximum. In this case, it's 80%. Lockdown, one hit will slow you down by 75%, and the stack lasts for 10 seconds. There's even an old turret, the Disruptor Cannon turret, that will slow you down. There are two ways you can counter that. One is by having a special that will give you slow resistance. The other way is by being unreactive. There are no specials in the game that can make a ship unreactive. Either the ship is unreactive or it's not. If it's not, you can only reduce the impact of slow effects by having slow resistance. So when you look at the new ship here, the Razor Tail, it's already unreactive to 0 seconds. So that means stacks will not affect this ship at all. Meaning you don't need anything to give you slow resistance, because the slow weapons will have no effect on you because it will not stack. I hope that's clear. Okay, ships that are not unreactive, then you need slow resistance if you want to counter that. And that's the case of all tier 7 conquerors. They're not unreactive, so you need something to improve your slow resistance, such as, again, Agility System 4. Tactical fields are a bit different. So they can look like fire fields, like ice fields, like oil patches, corrosive clouds. They have many shapes. And again, while you're in a field, you're being affected by that field. You move out, you're not. If you're controlling your ships, aka driving, you can avoid the fields. You can maneuver around them. But if you're doing it from the Battle Pirates HQ app or just on autopilot on the map, then you can't, meaning you eventually will end up in one of those fields. The only way you can dampen the effect, you cannot eliminate completely, but you can dampen the effect by having very good tactical field resistance. So let's look at the specials we have in game. First one, Agility System 4. This one, like I said, very good for the previous two. Slow and stun resistance, great. It also gives you great evade, but gives you no tactical field resistance at all, so this is not an option. Next up, Shielded Circuitry. That's the newest one, and I think just because it's the newest one, a lot of people are using it in their ships, thinking it's the best, but it's not. It gives you 40% tactical field resistance, even being at maximum rank of 15. It does give you slow and stun resistance, which makes it a very good special to use when hitting bases, because then you combine tactical field, slow, and stun in a single special, but no evade. That's what you're giving up. Shielded Tactical System 3. This one will give you tactical field resistance and slow resistance, but no evade, no stun resistance. So if you're facing an enemy that gives you these two only, that's a good special. It is better than Shielded Circuitry when it's retrofitted to R15, because it gives you 47% tactical field resistance versus only 40 from the other guy. Then there's the Tactical Insulator. It's available in FM, or at least used to be. And this one is the best special to counter tactical fields because it gives you 50% resistance and a little bit of evade. It does not give you any slow or stun resistance, but you can combine it with Agility System 4 if you want. If you need evade and stun and slow and tactical, it's the best combo. So any of these three specials will work. If you're only looking at tactical field resistance, the best option is the Tactical Insulator, bar none. That's it. Okay, so when to plan for what? Two examples when hitting player bases. When you can literally expect everything, then ideally you combine Agility System 4 and Tactical Insulator, because then you kind of get an all-around protection against all of these options: stun, slow, fields, and you get evade. Against the new skirmish targets that are starting in the October raid, there are no boom effects stunning your ships, there are no enemy weapons slowing you down. And even if there were, the new ships are unreactive already. So you only have to worry about one thing: tactical fields. And the best special is Tactical Insulator 3 at retrofit level 15. So if you're picking shielded circuitry over tactical insulator, you're doing it wrong. I hope this video helps. Share with your alliances, share with the other players, make sure everybody understands the difference between the three and builds their ships accordingly. If you like this video, again, please hit like, subscribe to my channel for more videos like that. I have a playlist called BP Explainers, and you can find videos explaining deflection, resistances, resonance, and a lot of other topics that are usually confusing to many players. Check it out. See you next time.